Hello and welcome to FundHub Radio. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today I'm really excited to introduce you guys to a brand new guest of ours. This is a school in San Diego, California, Hancock Elementary School, and today we are joined by Trace Cimins. Hey, Trace, how's it going?
Hello. It's a great day here in sunny San Diego. I can't complain.
That's awesome. We're so excited that you're joining us. Hancock Elementary has been with us for several years. We're excited to find out what's unique about Hancock Elementary and also why you guys love Get Moving and why you guys continue to use us every year.
Fantastic.
All right. So first, we're just going to start off finding out a little bit more about Hancock Elementary. I know that there's a little bit of uniqueness to Hancock Elementary. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Hancock is an amazing elementary school in San Diego, as you shared. For those who don't know, San Diego is a huge military community. And we have many pockets of military housing around San Diego, but Murphy Canyon, which is where my school is located, is one of the largest off-base military housing communities in the world. So our school is about 98% military dependence. And so it really just is a unique experience to support these families as they're moving their way through life.
Absolutely. And that's kind of cool too, that you guys can kind of almost be like a community for each other because, it is a unique experience probably growing up as a military dependent and, being a community as a school with people that are like-minded. That's really cool.
For sure. And I grew up a military dependent. So I knew going into teaching, this was the community I wanted to teach in to support these families.
Absolutely. Did you grow up in San Diego?
Primarily in San Diego. We had a couple of years in Pensacola, Florida, a little bit up in Washington State, and then back to San Diego. So I was very fortunate in not moving around a lot.
Cool. That is really good. And so you mentioned that, you teach. So what kind of role do you have at Hancock Elementary in regards to your role in general there and then as well with fundraising?
So I've been at Hancock Elementary for my entire teaching career, which is also unique among the teaching community.
Yeah.
I've been there for this will be my 27th year. I taught fourth grade for the first 10 years and then switched to kindergarten for this will be my 17th year in kindergarten. People ask which one I like better. They're two completely different animals. I love them both, but my heart is with the littles. So I've enjoyed teaching my kindergartners. So like I said, passionate about this community, wanted to be at this school. We don't have a lot of funding. And so my sister back in North Carolina was telling me about these jogathons that her kids' school hold, and they raise a good amount of money and I should give it a shot. So back in probably 2014 or 15, I started doing these jogathons all with paper and pencil and by hand and kind of on my own. And it was a lot of work, but it was something I wanted to bring money to our school so that our kids could have some different experiences and memories. And so that was just kind of my role. It was just something I took on my own. It was something that I wanted to do, and I've kind of been spearheading it ever since. We are unique that our families come and go. They might be there for 2 or 3 or maybe 4 years. So it's hard to have a parent volunteer be in charge, or even we have a PTF, a Parent Teacher Foundation. Okay. And they definitely help me out. But it's kind of hard to have them be the sole owners of this activity because they don't have the historical component of just knowing from year to year. It'd be like they would be starting from scratch every year, which it's a lot of work. Yeah. But not as much work now that I have FundHub.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, that's actually kind of leading me into my next question is, so you kind of mentioned a little bit about how, do you guys remember prior to when your sister brought up that jogathon, how you guys were fundraising before that?
Well, we did the selling the wrapping paper, selling the cookie dough, selling the this, selling the that, trying to do, oh my gosh, one of the ones we used to do was with McDonald's. But the way it worked was staff from the school worked behind the counter and that was the draw for families to come in. So it wasn't just come in and eat and they donate 10%.
Right.
The draw was that we were behind the counter working. Now, I have nothing against working at McDonald's. That was my first job. Utmost respect for it. It's a hard job.
Right.
But I'm a little past that now, and I
Right.
wasn't interested in doing that anymore. So
yeah. Well, and I know you like the thing about the jogathons is not only of course it requires a little bit of work and you can do it, but it's like it's the work leading up to it and then the one day and then it's done. And you're kind of hoping that that can kind of give you most or the majority of your funding for the year and you don't have to do all the little fundraisers and stuff like that. So I know you mentioned your sister brought up the jogathon to you, but what made you really like switch? Was it that, there wasn't so much overhead, because when you buy the products and stuff, you're kind of only, some of these companies, it's only like 50%, 75%, hopefully, what made you switch to the jogathon other than your sister bringing it up?
Just honestly, just her bringing it up, just us talking about it and her, well, I take that back because my niece and nephews were hitting me up for money. So then I was personally invested in their activities. Yeah. And I started asking more questions. And my sister said, yeah, it's a teacher at their school that runs it. She could probably share all the materials with you, which she did. She was very nice and supportive. And so, yeah. And the idea was just to raise more money. At that point, I wasn't thinking we'd be replacing anything. We had this amazing program from the YMCA called YMCA Play that because we're a military school, they did not charge us for the program, but it was a very expensive program. So my goal was also to take some of the money from the fun run or jogathon and donate it to the YMCA.
Oh, that's awesome.
For their support.
Yeah, that's actually, so I'm going to move into a little bit about your fundraising event that you guys specifically had. And then I'm going to touch on a little bit later what you guys use a lot of that money towards. So that's really cool that you donated that to the YMCA. That's like, really, you like to share the wealth. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, I think I saw a little bit in the history of your guys' event that you've done like some different monster dashes, but typically what kind of fundraising event do you guys do with Get Moving and FundHub? And what's unique about your guys' event?
So we started off doing the fun run. I like calling it a fun run, not a jogathon, because we weren't doing per lap donations and whatnot. So we started off doing the fun run. And Jeanette, who is our personal coach and who is amazing, was like, most schools raise more money in the fall. And we're like, no, we want to do it in the spring. We have a lot of new families that come in at the beginning of the year. We don't want to hit them right off the bat with a big fundraiser. We want to do the spring. And the fun run was a good thing to do in the springtime. But then as time went on and we grew a bit more of a relationship with Jeanette, we're like, let's try this fall thing. And it worked out great to be in the end of October and be the Monster Dash. So it was still a jogathon / fun run, whatever you want to call it, but it morphed into a Monster Dash right around Halloween time. And it's just a lot of fun. Our staff has a lot of fun with it. Like within a grade level, I know our kindergarten grade level, we have 8 classrooms, and each one we did tie-dye for our kiddos of a different color, you know? And so that was just a lot of fun to see all these littles out there running in their little tie-dye shirts.
Yes.
It's just, it's a lot of fun. So we didn't actually wear costumes to the Monster Dash just because of the timing of the year we called it a Monster Dash.
Yes, and that's kind of cool too, just to associate a theme with it. It gets the kids excited. And I also can agree with you. I like Fun Run way better than Jogathon too. Not only is it like not associated with like per lap and stuff, but also it's just more fun. It's in the name.
Agreed. Agreed. It's in the name.
Right, exactly. And when you're dealing with kids, you got to like put on your marketing cap a little bit,
Yes, you do. So then when we did the Monster Dash, we would do incentives and we would try to theme them along those lines of monster and whatnot. So
that is one of my next questions coming up too here. First, I just want to touch on what was your goal? Let's go with last year. What was your goal? And then how much money did you guys actually end up raising?
So last year, our goal was $30,000. Jeanette keeps telling us we need to bump that up, but we're just like, not quite ready. Because we want to make our goal and surpass it. We're worried if we set our goal too high, but there's also that envision it, set the goal high, you're going to make it. which we kind of did because we ended up raising $41,179.
You hit the goal by just a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit. So
That's
that was
awesome.
a lot of fun. That was
So
fun.
yeah, going back to those incentives then, because obviously you got to do something to get these kids excited so that you can hit that goal. Was there anything unique that you guys did incentive wise that you might want to share with some people watching that are maybe looking for some fun incentive ideas for their school?
Yeah. Well, that was another thing when Jeanette said do incentives, we thought, that's crazy. We're never she's setting this crazy goal. She wants us to spend all this money. But then when you surpass your goal by over $11,000, you kind of realize, yeah, it wasn't that bad spending that money on those incentives. It was definitely worth it.
Right. Yes.
We liked doing an incentive just for registering because if they register, they're more likely to just share and more likely to raise. And we wanted our registration prize to be something personal to the school. So we went with a company for Imprint and got the sports water bottles for kids with our school logo on it. So just for registering, they got a Hancock water bottle. That's what we did for the first few years. But then there were just so many of those water bottles that we switched to just little refrigerator magnets that are Hancock refrigerator magnets, so we just did a little something for registering. And then for different levels of raising money, we did, again, through For Imprint, we did glow in the dark bracelets with our school logo on them. We've purchased through FundHub the various little keychains and whatnot. You guys are really good each year at changing them to be a different theme and having other options and whatnot. And then as kids raise more, we have bigger prizes. So all the way up to where they could choose little Lego sets and whatnot. So just, lots of fun. The prize patrol is what we called it. I'd go around with my big wagon with everything in there. And thanks to FundHub platform, I have my tablet there and it tells me exactly which students and which class are getting which prizes. And I could just tap it and it shows they got it. And just loved it.
Yeah, those incentive trackers can be really nice, especially when you are dealing with some of those more material prizes. I know that, making sure that every kid, does not get left out. Everybody has that water bottle that earned it is super important. So that's awesome that you guys are able to utilize that.
Yep.
Awesome. Well then, so moving on to kind of like why you guys like continue to work with us every year. I know that there's probably a few reasons, but what would you say is your favorite part about working with Get Movin'? What's like, oh my gosh, if they took that away, like this would be so much harder. Like what helps you guys? What's your favorite part about using FundHub?
It's so hard to say a favorite part because there are so many components that if that went away, that would really be a bummer. Like if we didn't have Jeanette, man, I email her with questions and she's on it getting back to me. So I'm not super tech savvy, so I really rely on that. And she just really helps out, supports us. So if that were to go away, I'd be bummed about that. The incentive tracker is huge. That it is so huge. It just helps simplify things so much for us. I could easily have a parent help with prize patrol and know that things were being delivered. I could see that in real time on my computer. I love that each class can have their own page. And the teachers would have that page up in the morning as the kids come into the classroom, and the kids are literally like, look, we're in third place now, and Mrs. Gonzalez is in second. How much more do we need to pass her? And my gosh, that was great. Yeah, loved that. Love the fact that everything is so computerized that when teachers would have questions, so-and-so's mom says they didn't get their such and such, I can look at well, on this date, they got blah, 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 So just the ease of researching things, the support, the making it so easy for teachers to access things and have fun and hype their kids up. And so I don't know. I didn't answer your question at all.
No, you totally did. That's awesome. I think that I do agree with you though. I think that I love the online component. Obviously in the world of business today, you have to have some sort of online component, but I think that's something that I mean, I even value from working here is just the personal event coach, like having somebody that is like your single point of contact, that no matter what, even if it's 8 p.m., she's going to respond to you, you know, just being able to have that person that can help you out. So I agree with that
huge.
totally.
It's huge. And then just the fact that when we did this, before we started with FundHub, and I was just doing it with my pencil and paper, we were very limited to what we could raise within our neighborhood. Some families would hit up family members who would mail in a check or something, but we were very limited. And by using this platform, I mean, we get, and that's another thing, the map. There's the map that shows where donations come from. So for our community, that's a lot of fun. We're getting them from Japan, the Philippines, all kinds
all
of
over
stuff,
the world.
So.
Yeah, no, I love the map too. I think, and you know, every year we're trying to like add more things just to make it more user friendly for everybody. So yeah, I think that that map, especially for a military based school, or not based, but you know, school, that's super cool to see, not only from around the country, but around the world. So how would you say that, or what kinds of things do you guys use your money for at, because we touched on it a little bit when you talked about the YMCA, but when you guys do hit that like $41,000 number, like what are you guys using that money towards?
A number of things, but I think the two biggest expenses for our school, we had a grant to start a school garden. And so of course the grant carried us over for a few years paying Farmer Christina, but that grant runs out. And so the PTF uses money to hire the farmer. And every class gets to go to the garden maybe 5 or 6 times a year with Farmer Christina. Teachers can take kids there anytime, but lessons with Farmer Christina are maybe 5 or 6 times a year. So that's paying for supplies for her to keep the garden going, as well as having classes with the kids. And then the other big expense that we use this for is an art teacher. So we have an art teacher that the kids go to 5 or 6 times a year. The teacher stays with the kids for both of these activities. But we go into the art room and she's just got so many art supplies. She's got preset art lessons per grade level and does all that. So again, this money's help paying for those supplies as well as paying for the salary of that art teacher. So those are the two big things. And then there's just other things the PTF uses money for. The hallway, we recently had some new construction on our school site. And in the kindergarten building, our hallway walls are all white. So over the summer, as kindergarten teachers with PTF funds, bought paint supplies and painted all the little cutouts where the backpacks hang, painted those all a bright yellow. Our school colors are blue and yellow. Painted those yellow, got some posters inside, you know, those kinds of things. But that was something that we went to the PTF and asked for funding for. So, and then the PTF does lots of other things throughout the year, you know, movie nights. When we have our book fair, they make sure that kids get books and just lots of different things.
That's really, really awesome. It's really cool doing these interviews with all these different schools too, just because everybody has, of course, there's the common things, you know, like teacher appreciation, that kind of thing, you know, new technology or whatever for the school. But like that garden is super unique and, you know, the art supplies, that's all really cool and unique. So that's awesome. I love that you guys use that stuff on unique, different stuff.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, cool. Well, we're kind of getting close to the end here. This already like went by so fun.
Already.
Time flies by when you're having fun.
Yes, it does.
So I guess I'm just going to wrap it up here with some final thoughts. And given like all of the success that you guys have had, not just, I know it's only gotten greater with FundHub, but even before without you guys using us, what advice would you give some other like parent group members that may be thinking about starting a fun run or a jogathon event style fundraiser at their school?
Just do it. Make the call, have that appointment. It does not cost you a thing to have that initial meeting.
Yes.
And just learn more. And don't be afraid to just jump off the cliff and just trust, because you guys really have, FundHub really has been supportive. Yes, it costs money. People always push back. Oh, but it costs money. And yeah, you're right. But I used to raise $8,000 to $10,000 a year, and now I'm raising over $40,000 a year. So, you know, I'm still coming out ahead. by a lot,
Yeah.
but it can't hurt to have that conversation and learn more and just do that. Just do that.
Yeah, I think it's it's so valuable, just the ability to have those web pages that anywhere in the world, like you mentioned, can reach. Like
Yes.
in our world today, social media, love it or hate it, it's a thing. And to be able to post it on there or even just text or email it to a friend or family member, they can literally donate within minutes, and you don't have to be worrying about the check coming in the mail or seeing them to grab the cash, even if they're down the street. Within 5 minutes, they can send in a $10 donation to their student.
Well, and the other thing that I like about FundHub is that you guys really do try to help us keep as much of the money as we can. So for example, 100%. You put the opportunity out there for a donor to click the little box to say, I'll cover the transaction fee for this student. You guys really do try to get as much money in the school. I mean, you have to run your business. It's a way of life. That's the way it is. But you try to get as much money in the school as possible. And I love that I can track money that is turned into us directly. I can easily enter it into the computer as cash. So it tracks it for the student, it tracks it for the school, it shows in our bottom line number. So I like all that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. And I totally agree. So I'm super glad that you were able to meet with us today and hear a little bit about Hancock and what makes it unique, along with your fundraising event and all the hard work that you do. So I want to not only thank you for your time, but I want to thank you for all of the volunteer effort that you put into Hancock Elementary, because I know that you're a teacher, but you do not get paid enough for that alone, let alone all of the, extra volunteer work that you do. So I know that Hancock is super lucky to have you. And we are so excited to work with you guys again coming up this fall for your upcoming fundraiser. And
we're going to do a running through the decades this time.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
running through the decades.
That's awesome. Trace, thank you so much for being here today, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.